Give me a second. All right. So, as it's like this, public speaking takes place in a kind of important manner in our life. Why? Because even though when it comes to the academic levels or when it comes to the professional levels or occupational level, right, we need to just perform public speeches sometimes. If you are becoming a kind of particular reputed person in the society one day, if you're having a kind of company or a kind of different uh, type of what is it occupation where you have to address a huge audience, then you would need to just have this quality with you, and you need to have this skill with you, right? Though you can communicate in English doesn't mean that you can deliver a public speech. Public speech is a kind of different thing that we have to really practice prior, right? So once I'm just moving with the past experiences that I have, right? I can still remember the first public speech that I have delivered in a kind in front of a kind of audience. When I was in grade 10, right? Until the grade 10, I was like not I didn't get a kind of chance to deliver a public speech properly, but I can still remember there was a teacher whose name is Senani teacher here in Bandara Dharmapala College. So she used to address me with a nickname. Uh, there's no any reason, particular reason, but somehow she just used to address me with a nickname, and I'll say it later. Uh, so I can still remember I used to just worship the teachers when I was in the school. When I see them, I used to worship. So at a moment that I was worshiping Mrs. Senani and another teacher, uh, they both were selecting some of the students for the English competitions. There were some different types of competitions and events, and many of the students were being selected to different types of competitions, but none of them were being selected to impromptu speeches. I think you might be able to revise that particular word, impromptu speeches. Do you know about that? The impromptu speeches? No. Impromptu speeches, in the sense, the speeches which we are delivering just with, I mean, like, suddenly we have to practice that. At the moment that we are receiving the topic of that particular speech, we have to just practice it and deliver that in front of an audience. All right. So everyone hesitated to join to the impromptu speeches competition, but Mrs. Senani just said that the other teacher that he would do the speech. So I didn't have any other option because I have a kind of barrier that I couldn't able to say no to a teacher. I just said yes, right? So the immediate after that day, I had to face to that competition. And the thing is, when I was at the school, you will be surprised by what I'm just going to say. I was being a Sinhala medium student, not an English medium student, right? So the other members who were being in the school, who had been selected as the competitors, they were all English medium students, and we were having a little gap. You know that it comes to Sri Lankan situation, right? But yeah, glad to say you that I'm in a kind of different level right now with related to the English language. So it's a life, right? So the thing here, what happened? At the immediate day that I have been selected as a competitor, I didn't have any other choice but to just practice that. But I didn't know about impromptu speeches because I have never heard about that particular word. So I went home and I just uh, browsed the internet and I just identified what does it really mean. So I got to understand that this is the method that I have to deliver a speech, but I didn't have any kind of a book, any kind of material or a resource to practice that. Neither a result nor any kind of a person to support me. So what I had done, there was a booklet, which is a kind of ancient booklet that I had as a kind of antique collection here in Sri Lanka, because it has been, I mean, like passing throughout generations from our generation. The particular booklet's name is Kathika Vidya, right? A science of speaking in Sinhala. I didn't have any other choice but to just get the help from that particular book. So I read it once I have reached home. I got to understand different levels of methods that what I have to just be familiarized with when I'm delivering that particular speech. So at the day when I was having the speech uh, competition, I got a topic. I can still remember that topic because it's a kind of life-changing moment. I had the topic as how to manage your time. It's a kind of easy one, but we have to talk in front of an audience. The topic, though the topic is a kind of small one, we have to talk, right? I had to talk. Therefore, I had what do you say? I had arranged a little speech just at the moment that I have received the topic, and I delivered the speech well. I became the first of the particular competition under that particular event. And there was another girl who got the second place, and she's also an English teacher right now. Uh, that was a kind of life changeable moment of my life. And after that, I decided to keep continue with that progress. I decided to improve that skill. So when I was in A levels, I can still remember that we all had to deliver some speeches once a week, not once a week actually, once a month or somewhat like that. I can't remember the frequency, and many of the students were like escaping from that task. But once I got the chance, I decided somehow to move on. So I had to deliver the speeches when I was in grade 12 in front of a huge number of students who are the who were the students who were being taught as the A levels, being taught under the A level streams. So I did it well. Later, I have been selected as a member of the debate team. Finally, after months, I have been appointed as the president of the debate team in the science section. So at the moment that I have been selected as the president of the debate team, uh, those days when I was doing my A levels, I have been teaching as a teacher at the Dhamma school as well. On Sundays, I used to go to the Dhamma school and teach the small fellows. And as a result of that, the teachers who who were teaching at the Dhamma school as well got to know about that, and they asked me to practice the small ones to deliver the speeches. Those particular incidents led me to become a teacher somehow, and those particular incidents made me speak many of the students, those who are not willing to speak in English in front of an audience. So I think you might can remember that not the last week, the week before the last week, I was being conducting an examination for those who have completed the course that I am just offering. And there were more than 40 students, and they all had to deliver two public speeches. That means I had to check more than 80 public speeches at the single day. And fortunately, they all could manage with that particular task, and they all passed the examination as well. There were some of the students, those who got the highest marks of the public speeches as well. So that's a kind of story that led me to become a kind of public speaker. So the last public speech that I had conducted had been done today in front of number of students in the classes. But except those classes, I conducted a speech. I mean, I delivered a speech in front of a number of, I mean, like thousands. No, not thousand, more than 500 people uh, in a convocation as a guest here in Sri Lanka. And those are some kind of experiences that I had gained so far. And I would like to share these things. Why? Because you can be motivated with the things that I'm sharing with you. And you can get an idea that there will be a kind of particular incident that you will be able to decide who you need to become. All right. So we're gonna be now move into some of the talents of the students. I mean, like some of the students' speeches. Might you will be able to deliver speeches than this what I'm going to just show you, right? Doesn't matter at all. Let's identify some of the ways how some other people are just talking in front of an audience. And remember, though the student only can be seen in the screen, that doesn't mean that they are alone. They all are in front of a number of, I mean, like uh, around 50 students, right? Those all speeches that I'm going to show you are being done in front of a huge audience, like now 50 or somewhat. All right. So let's watch some of the videos and we'll get a little idea about the way how others are conducting public speeches. These are the videos that I showed you, that I told you about. Mhm. All right, this is a little speech.
Today I am about myself. My name is Matheesha. I grew up in Lara. I'm an actor. I accept to follow a ICT course also. I plan to use I plan to join arts because.
All right, this one video, other one. Let's watch some of them.
Today my intention is to go through a beautiful place. Let me celebrate on yours and mine. I'm going to talk about the wonderful place that is the subject of songs and product mix. It was started in 1942 by Sir Albert I hope you understand what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the history of therapy. Did you know that there is different faculties? Faculty of medicine, faculty of engineering, faculty of art, faculty of agriculture, faculty of science.
These are some of my students.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is a good day for all of us. Today is not a good day, but however, if we think today is a good day, it's a good day. If we think today is a bad day, it's a bad day. So be positive and think positive and be a good one. So today I'm going to speak about myself. First of all, I want to say my name and my name. I live in Vietnam. It means my hometown is Vietnam, and I'm living there. So I'm the only child for my mom and my dad. Someone told me that.
These are brown. Right. Could you able to hear? All right. So once I was conducting the courses here, I used to just teach them a lesson, which is public speaking. Why? Because those who are facing their life, they need to just have that ability to talk in front of a huge number of audience. Though we don't have a number of audience here, right? That doesn't mean that we can't practice that. We can get the idea and the theoretical knowledge about that particular skill. So to move with the class, I'm just going to show you a character from Sri Lanka representing our country as a public speaker in all around the world. He is Mr. Dhananjay Hettiarachchi, the world champion of public speaking 2024. With the name that you will be with the name you will be able to understand that Dhananjay Hettiarachchi is a Sri Lankan person, and this is the award-winning speech that he had delivered. So before the end of this session, we'll listen to this one, and later with the next session, I'll be teaching you what are the things that we have to identify. Clear? And try to observe and analyze the speech as much as possible by yourself.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything.
Cool day. Put them all together.
Can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Have you watched this?
No, sir.
No. All right. Just try to observe this one and try to analyze every single element here that he had used as the techniques, right?
Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi, I see something. I see something. Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi.
You and I are not very different from this flower. Just like this flower is unique, you are unique. All of us has something special that makes us as beautiful. Do you know what makes you special? Now the answer to that can be a little difficult to find, because sometimes life has a cruel way of picking out your petals, breaking you in two, and throwing you into the trash. And when you're broken, it's very difficult to feel special. Mr. Contest Chair, my fellow flowers, I can remember the first time I broke. I was 17 years old. I had already flunked high school and managed to get myself arrested. Now, I wasn't afraid of the cops, but there was one person I was very afraid of, and that was my mama. Raise your hand if you have an emotional mother. Let me see. Put them all together, you get mama. I can hear her scream outside the police station. Even the cops were afraid. She came up to me, held the iron bars, looked into my eyes, and I saw a tear coming down her face. Now, I've seen my mama cry before, but mothers cry 3 types of tears. Tears of joy, tears of sorrow, and tears of shame. And when a son sees a mother cry tears of shame, that's a life-changing moment. She looked at me and said, "Son, I want you to be a better man." That night, when I drove home, my dad was waiting for me at home. Now, my dad is a cool dad. Raise your hand if you have a cool dad. Put them all together, you get my dad. My dad came up to me and said, "Son, it's okay. You flunked your exams. You already got arrested. That's fine. You get that from your mother's side. I want you to start working immediately." And I said, "Okay." So my dad took me to meet one of his friends called Sam. Now, Sam was an accountant who had an accounting firm and had generously decided to make me his personal assistant. And there he was. He looked like a teddy bear. But this man was special. I looked at him and he looked at me. And then he said the most amazing thing. He said, "Son, I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. If you decide to work with me, I can help you find that something." And I was like, whoa, that's the first time in my whole life somebody has ever told they see something in me. And I started working for Sam. And every day after work, he used to tell me stories about the world, about history, about culture, about philosophy. And it was much more interesting than what I learned in school. And I discovered I can dream. And I started dreaming, ladies and gentlemen. After 1 year, I went back into high school, completed my exams, and went into college. After successfully completing college, I found a great girl, but not a job. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Have you ever had that problem? And when you're lost, it's difficult to feel special. So I went back to my cool dad. And I said, "Dad, I feel lost." He said, "You are like your mother." So my dad introduced me to this strange club that had a strange name, with strange people talking. On the first meeting, they told me to do something called a table topic. I aced it. But while I was speaking, I see a strange man seated in the back row. Humble, simple. The unfailing quality of kindness in his eyes. As soon as I finished, he walked up to me, looked me dead straight in the eye, and said, "Son, I see something in you. But I don't know what it is. If you come here twice a month, maybe we can find that something." And ladies and gentlemen, I discovered I could speak, and I love speaking. And that led me to become a teacher. I know what it's like to not have enough money in your bank account. I know what it's like to worry when the bills start coming in. And sometimes, in the middle of the night, I wake up my beautiful wife and I ask her, "Honey, why did you marry me?" She says, "I saw something in you. But I still don't know what it is." Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm a dreamer, I'm a speaker, and I learned the unfailing quality of unconditional love from my wife. I was broken, and I've been broken, lost, and broke many times in my life. But the people in my life were able to reach into the trash can and make me whole again. If it was up to me, I would have never been able to do that. And this is why, if you have great people in your life, no matter how broke, how lost, or how broken you become, they can piece you back together. Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at you, I see something in you. But I don't know what it is. Over to you.
So this is an award-winning speech in 2024 in the World Championship of Public Speaking. Let's move to the next link to,
Excuse me, sir.
yes,
Is he from Sri Lanka?
yeah, he's from Sri Lanka. His name is Dhananjay Hettiarachchi.
Yeah.
Nice or no?
Yeah.
So let's analyze this one. You will be surprised with the elements that I'm going to show you, which related to this particular speech and the things that we're going to be learning using this speech. Let's rejoin the session using the next link to more observe this particular one. All right, shall we?
All right.
All right. Let's do it quickly.